Anyway, love y'all. I hope you have a beautiful day. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Or sleep in. Or stay in bed all damn day today. It's Sunday, right? Love y'all. Peace.
First, I want to say that my name is Chyna. Those that know me as Joanie or Joan, that's cool, but just to let everybody out there know that my name is legally Chyna. So.
Chyna was born Joan Marie Laurer on December the 27th, 1969 in Rochester, New York. She was the youngest of 3 children. Her 2 older siblings were named Kathy and Sonny. Chyna had a rather unconventional and disruptive childhood. She had 3 stepfathers and 1 stepmother. Her biological father had a problem with alcoholism, and during her childhood years, her siblings and her mother would move several times. As a child, she learned to play the violin and cello, a skill that she continued on in adulthood. She left home at the age of 16, and this is where she began working out. Laurer attended the University of Tampa, where she graduated in 1992 with a major in Spanish literature. She was a member of the ROTC, the Reserve Officer Training Corps, and originally wanted to use her knowledge of foreign languages to work for a division of the FBI. However, she subsequently joined the Peace Corps and was assigned to Guatemala. After college, she began to regularly enter fitness competitions, but because of her large size compared to the other women, she usually finished in last place. And so now we come to Chyna's professional wrestling career. She trained with wrestling legend Killer Kowalski at his wrestling school in Massachusetts. Kowalski, of course, would train many legends during his day, including Triple H. While attending the school, she worked for various independent promotions under the name of Joanie Lee. Now, it was in 1996, after a professional wrestling show, where she met Triple H and Shawn Michaels. And after watching tapes of her matches, they decided to bring her into the WWF as a bodyguard. Initially, Vince McMahon didn't want her to join the company because he didn't think that the audience would find it believable having a woman beat up a man. Now, it was also at this time that Chyna was being approached by WCW, right when they were just starting to get underway with the NWO and doing big numbers themselves. The WWF caught wind of this, and any indecision they had was thrown to the wayside, and they officially signed her up to the World Wrestling Federation. February 16, 1997 at In Your House Final 4 is where Chyna made her WWE debut. It was Triple H vs. The Rock with the Intercontinental Championship on the line. Goldust walked out to the ring near the end of the match. The Rock would get the pinfall over Hunter that night, but then it was all about what happened post-match. With Goldust and Hunter staring each other down now in the ring, Chyna from the crowd grabbed Marlena, Goldust's manager, around the neck, choking her out. She was then escorted backstage by security. And this led on to the following night on Chyna's Raw debut. It was Triple H vs. Goldust. Triple H had the match won, he just hit the pedigree on Goldust. Then Goldust manager Marlena came into the ring, slapped Triple H. Chyna had seen enough, she stepped in and took out Marlena, shaking her about like a little rag doll. As JR said at the time on commentary, squeezing the life out of little Marlena, and she did. And so those were our first encounters with Chyna, and boy did she sure make an impression. And what followed that was one fun, wild ride with her and D-Generation X. Chyna was that X factor, that icing on the top of D-Generation X. You had Shawn Michaels, you had Triple H, they were the 2 mainstays, the 2 big names. But Chyna helped the group stand out with her uniqueness. she helped make D-Generation X what it was. She didn't say much, but she didn't need to. If anybody got in the way of D-Generation X, she would handle it. And so we come to the 1999 Royal Rumble with Chyna as a member of D-Generation X. She entered the Royal Rumble at number 30. That's right, the first woman to ever enter a Royal Rumble match. And there was no women's Rumble match back then. She was in there with all the guys. And she got straight at it, eliminating Mark Henry, who she had been recently involved in a storyline with, but was then eliminated by Stone Cold Steve Austin. However, still an awesome feat for her to even make the Rumble match. Then we would have a big turnabout following the Rumble. Chyna would betray Triple H, only to rejoin with Triple H not long after at WrestleMania 15. She then went on to bigger and better things in the WWF, becoming the first woman to ever win the Intercontinental Championship. And she is the only woman to do so. Chyna would then work in successful storylines with Chris Jericho and of course as Mamacita with Eddie Guerrero. She would defeat Ivory for the Women's Championship at WrestleMania 17, and she defended that title against Lita at Judgment Day. However, this was to be her final WWE match. Chyna left the WWF in November of 2001, several months after she had been taken off television.
Well, my contract was up for renewal, and probably, I would say, almost a year ago, the company asked me to resign. It was before Vince purchased WCW, but very close to the purchase of WCW. And they came to me with a contract which I felt was, one, unacceptable, because you have to understand that I was going into the next 5 years of my life. And at that point, I felt that I was really at the top of my game. I felt that I had enormous popularity. I felt better than I ever had before. I looked better than I ever had before. And I felt like I was really on top of things. And I had an enormous amount of opportunity that was coming to me on an outside level. You know, other television, movies, Playboys, etc., which I was not allowed to take advantage of as long as I was with the World Wrestling Federation.
In 2002, not long after leaving the WWE, Chyna had a brief stint with New Japan Pro Wrestling. Although things went well with the company, she would leave later on that year. Following this came many forays into the world of television and media. Chyna would appear on The Howard Stern Show, the MTV Video Music Awards, Fear Factor, and the list goes on. In 2004, she entered the adult film industry, and many say this is what dampened her chances to become a member of the WWE Hall of Fame. She was having problems with substance abuse issues, and at this time her life was just spiraling out of control. In 2011, she joined TNA Total Non-Stop Action Wrestling, but again this was just a brief stint with the company and she would leave not long after. Laurer was able to get her life back together from 2012 until 2015, where she taught English in Japan, and she converted to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints while she was there. However, it was on April 20th of 2016 when Laurer was found dead at her home in Redondo Beach, California. It was ruled her death was caused by an overdose of alcohol and prescription pills.
But she was... Chyna was one of the funniest, sweetest people that I've known in the business of pro wrestling. And I think if you go back, if you ask all those people that was there in the locker room when she was there, when she was hot, universally, you're going to get thumbs up from her. I think all the guys respected her. Everybody knew she was over. And whatever happened with why she left the WWE or who was responsible for that, I don't know any of that. That's soap opera stuff that I didn't get into, but I respected Chyna. I liked Chyna. I thought she was a badass, and she was an absolute sweetheart, and she was very intelligent. You know, I know Chyna had her issues, you know, after she left the WWE, but, man, she had made a comeback from that, and I knew that she was teaching English. I think just come back to the States, and I guess they were filming a documentary about her life. And, man, it's just, I don't think it'll ever be right because she didn't go into the Hall of Fame, while she was alive, living and breathing with us. And I thought she earned the right to be in the Hall of Fame. And to put her in there posthumously, if I'm saying that word correctly, man, it's just not good enough. And so I don't know how you rectify that, how you deal with that. I always call her Chyna. Some people call people by their first names, depending on how you know them. Joanie, man, I'll miss you. I had so much fun with you and enjoyed all of our times that we got to spend together and our stupid brand sense of humor. That time I busted my ass in the Houston Summit right before I was fixing to go out there and wrestle Mick Foley, and you were sitting on that anvil case, and I was putting my water on and slipped in a pile of water and busted my ass right in front of you. I'll remember all them good times, and I'll remember you, and I wish you were still here.
Hi, this is Mike Tyson. Put Chyna in the Hall of Fame. Come on, Hall of Fame, Hall of Fame, Hall of Fame, Hall of Fame.
Chyna was a one-of-a-kind. She was a trailblazer. Nothing could match her for what she did at that time in the WWE. She broke many barriers for women's wrestling. But now we come to that issue of Chyna being inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. Now, she was inducted as a part of D-Generation X in 2019, but that's it. Shawn Michaels especially made a special mention of Chyna that night, so that was pretty cool. But of course, there has been no solo entry for her as Chyna in the Hall of Fame.
Regarding my relationship with the WWE and Hunter, those were the best days of my life. Wonderful opportunities, and I'm very grateful for those days, which is why I feel so passionate about being inducted in the WWE Hall of Fame. And in my campaign to be inducted, a lot of other issues have come up which I feel are personal between myself and Hunter and myself and Vince. And I have gone to WWE offices to try to get a meeting to discuss these issues personally with Hunter and with Vince. And I would really like to open the dialogue and have an audience with them to make that happen. Hunter and Vince, may I please have a meeting so we can make amends and bury the hatchet?
And as WWE has stated, it really is down to her involvement in the adult film industry, which has put a real dampener on her becoming a member of the Hall of Fame. That goes against their policies. They're a family-friendly company. It's just something they cannot do. And that is where they have to stand on that. But as we say, she does have that induction with D-Generation X, and that will have to do for now. But Hall of Fame or not, the ninth wonder of the world, Chyna, will always go down as one of the very best at what she did. Thanks heaps guys for tuning into the video. Be sure to drop a scorpion death drop on that like button and subscribe to the channel for more awesome pro wrestling action from the WWE, the WCW and much more.